So this US oil analysis for Monday the 5th of November. Now let's just have a look at prices and where prices may likely go. So here on the US oil, we have seen a continued persistent sell-off here on the US oil. More recently, as we can see, we've tested at 63.76 after breaking below it. Tested on quite a few occasions, weren't able to break and hold that 63.76. Instead, what we have seen is a further sell-side momentum taken through 63.05. We've come within a couple of pips here, not a couple of pips, couple of cents here of that 62.48. We have seen that bullish buy-side momentum. Didn't quite get towards our 63.05, but we are seeing that sell-side momentum return to market in alignment with what we have seen over the past week or so on the US oil. So if we do see a breakdown from 62.48, the very next level of note, we're looking at 61.48, successful break from which targeting at 60.25 here to the downside. And beyond that, we are looking at a move down towards our $60 a barrel mark here on the US oil. If, however, we do encounter major support in of the true test of that 62.48, looking for a move back up towards that 63.05, successful break from which, looking at this area where we previously encountered quite a bit of resistance in around that 63.76 here to the upside on the US oil. And if we do see a strong enough move to break through the 63.76, I wouldn't expect prices to move much beyond that 64.75 here to the upside on the US oil. We expect prices to be capped somewhat at that level if we do see a bit of a counter trend move here. And similarly to the downside, I wouldn't anticipate price to move much beyond that $61 a barrel mark, even if we do trade through that 61.48. What we'll do now is have a look here at the weekly charts, see how prices are developing, get scale on here correct. So on this weekly chart, as you can see here, we were into this bit of a megaphone pattern here on the US oil. What we have seen is price come to the lower end of the trading channel, but the channel was increasingly widening to the upside. What that resulted in was we made our highs here on around $75 a barrel mark, pulled back towards the lower end of this trading channel, broke off, made marginal, made somewhat higher highs. So we broke above 75, went up towards that 76.66. As we can see, after trading all up towards that 76.66, as indicated by the wick, so a bit of strong, pretty strong sell-side momentum. Saw that follow through in the weeks that post testing that 76.66. As we can see, we had pretty strong sell-side momentum. Now, last week we did close near our lows. We had a pretty strong sell-off last week. Pretty notable candle due to the open to low, the high to low range of the candle. The fact that we did close near the lows, pretty sizable candle. So we'll see if we do see this a bit of a counter trend move here and further continuation, or if we do continue to see a bit more sell-side momentum in the coming days, weeks here on the US oil. But we do appear to have broken somewhat out of the uptrend here with this sharp sell-off. So we'll see if we do continue to see a bit more of a pullback, possibly down towards the levels just identified here on the US oil. And finally, we'll have a look here at the daily chart. So on this daily chart, as we can see here, we break below the previous lows, and also that 63.76. We broke down towards that 63.70, broke towards that 63.05, and currently trading at that 62.67. So we're about 20 cents away from that 62.48 or so. We'll see if we do find support at a level, or if we do continue to have the further continuation down towards that 61.48 and possibly even that 60.25 here on the US oil. But overall, over the past couple of weeks or so, as we can see, we've posted a series of lower highs. We've had a few pullbacks along the way, but we've seen these pullbacks followed by increased sell-side momentum, pretty strong sell-side momentum. We have daily candles closing near their lows, indicating pretty strong momentum by the market bears. And with that said, as we can see, we've also broke below the 200 period moving average here on the daily chart. Retested it, failed, and as we can see, pretty consistent sell-off. So we'll see if we do find major support at levels previously identified as we've broken up beyond that 63.76 at present, the very next meaningful level of note. Let's just have a look here. The very next meaningful level of note that we are looking at, I suppose, is essentially a move down towards that $60 a barrel mark. Now we do have a minor level in around that $62 a barrel, but beyond that we are looking for, from a daily chart perspective, a move down towards that $60 a barrel mark here on the US oil. So if we do see a further continuation again, we look, we can target that $60 barrel mark. And with that said, that pretty much wraps up the US oil analysis. Thanks for watching.